Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, May 19th. We have a very, very special guest with us today, our Vice President of the Sales. Good morning, boys. How you doing today?
Good morning, Thanks for having us here.
I doubled the balds on the schedule today, Tom. So we got to fight our battles.
It's left versus right, no hair versus hair.
Yeah, it's more like regular loan officer, senior loan officer. I mean, that could be a meme almost of what you probably are going to turn into in another 10 years.
What you have to look forward to.
Hopefully you keep all your hair, man.
I don't know. The way the trend is going, it doesn't look positive for Tom and I.
Well, we got comb overs going right now. We're looking at it.
Well, the reason I had Mr. Shrum on today is my guest again, coming through, guest on a Friday. There's only one person in the podcast so far that has been suspended, so leave that for the record. Is we have Mr. Shrum on for two reasons. He is expert in mortgages and golf, and we're into the second major of the year. So I wanted to talk a little golf before we got into things heading into Friday at the PGA. Looks like the course is pretty serious this year. Doesn't look like anyone's running around. But the question I'm going to open up to my two golf experts on the bottom of the screen, Live or PGA, who do you guys got?
Live. Come on, man. I love that they're bringing commotion and chaos and trying to do their own thing. That is capitalism at its finest. They are trying to better themselves and go play that. And I actually like the product that they've been putting out on TV. It's a quick 4 hours. I get to watch it, see some different golfers, and they're done.
Is it true that last week, because it ran a little long, that WB sliced off the last couple holes to throw reruns of I Love Lucy or something on?
Yeah.
It's not false. That did happen, yes. But if you know your proper streaming devices and streaming channels, you can see every hole of live action all the time.
I will say, I thought the uniforms for Live were pretty dumb at the beginning. I think they're pretty cool now. I think it's easy to differentiate. It's great advertising. I see Dustin Johnson out there wearing his Aces stuff. I almost bought a vest yesterday just because he was wearing one.
I do think it's a good idea with the uniforms and stuff because people are hopping on. And I don't know if you saw last week, Bubba Watson was tweeting. He's on the Range Goats, the pink team. He went into the pro shop at the tournament and started signing all different types of Range Goats gear. So you could be lucky enough to buy something and have Bubba Watson's signature. So I like what they're trying to do with the brand. I know Bubba Watson said he wants to make a golf academy called the Range Goats here in America. So if they can start getting some academies, I think it could get some traction.
Better watch out. Rick Shrum might be going around signing Jubba Bobson, and you might get one of those too. So
I'm going to be a Range Goat, man.
Aren't you already? You already are a Range Goat. I see you up there every day.
That's right. I love it on the range, man. This is a great weekend for golf. You know, the PGA Championship, and you talk about the PGA Championship and walking into the pro shop. I mean, at the core of it, that's what this is all about. You know, I mean, there's 20 PGA professionals throughout the United States participating in this that have qualified. So to be playing with the professionals. So you walk into your pro shop tomorrow morning when you play golf or what have you, and your professional there had a chance to qualify.
I'll be doing pre-approvals tomorrow morning. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that's after you do your pre-approvals, right?
There you go. The difference between management and salesman. There you go.
You got to get in there for a little bit anyway, right?
Ryan, what are Saturdays for?
Saturdays are for the pre-approvals, of course.
No doubt. Yeah.
Who you got winning, Rick? Who's your pick for this week?
Well, I have to go definitely with Corey Connors. I mean, I'd have Corey Connors. I'd have Mackenzie Hughes, Taylor Pendrith. They're all Kent State alumni. You know, we stick together, man. Kent State.
Are you from Canada too?
Yeah, we got the pipeline there.
You know, and in Pennsylvania, you know, responsibly, you can go on to many of your local apps, head down to the rivers, the meadows, whatever it may be, take Mr. Shrum's advice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those guys got pretty good odds.
Yeah, man. That's it right there.
Yeah. But getting into the mortgage talk. So right now, we're kind of seeing a evolution in the market with buyers, where buyers are definitely shopping around, which is a positive thing. But it's the timing that we're seeing buyers shop around. So that's why we want to bring you in, Rick, talk about this, talk about the history of the market a little bit, because I believe the rumor is you did start when you had hair. So you've been in the game for a while. And just what we're seeing now is buyers get an offer accepted. That contract they sign has certain dates in it of when they have to complete mortgage application, when they have to complete appraisal and inspections and things like that. And buyers are then shopping around at that point, putting themselves in more of a pickle than I think they realize. So just wanted to bring you in, talk about the market, see if that's something different, see if that's a change, and where you see the market going a little bit.
Yeah. So, you know, the one thing that I do see that consumers seem to be a lot more aware of the Federal Reserve and what they're doing. And that news gets out into the, you know, into the media, from the media to people. And, you know, there is this little bit of a, you know, I was talking to an agent yesterday where she was talking to a buyer that said, hey, I don't think it's a good time to buy. You know, rates are going up, and you know, I'm not getting appreciation. You know, I could sell I can wait, or I missed my opportunity, which is far from the truth out there. So I think consumers get a little bit of the mixed signal of you know, what the Fed is doing at the Fed level, and then, you know, comparative to what happens at our level doing mortgage loans. You know, when the Fed's changing that discount rate, that's for a lot of the overnight banks to, you know, secure their overnight funds. It doesn't really trickle it down into the mortgage backed securities or into the mortgage world. So then, you know, buyers aren't really sure. So they hear that rates are going up, and then they're out there shopping around for interest rates or for, you know, different programs. And it's something that we're seeing more of it. And you know, as loan officers or as mortgage professionals in the marketplace, it becomes a little bit of a frustration point because, you know, we position ourselves from, you know, all of us from a West Penn standpoint where our rates are you know, they're determined here locally. They're not determined on a national scale like a lot of the other national lenders. So we have a real good idea of what's going on in the marketplace. So, you know, and at the end of the day, whenever you're talking about it, you know, the 6 pieces of information out there and then a loan estimate, that's what we provide. You know, we want to make sure that the rest of the industry is following that sort of standard out there. And sometimes they don't. Not whether they don't know the rule, or they forgot about the rule, or they're, you know, not attending to the rule. So it makes it difficult for the consumer to go shop because the loan estimate is set up so that a buyer can shop one institution versus another or versus 3 institutions out there. So, you know, once that 6 pieces of information is gathered, those mortgage professionals, as you guys all know, you know, are there to offer out the LE, the loan estimate, and then, you know, compare from a shopping standpoint. But if you get someone who doesn't do that, then the buyer's at a disadvantage, and the buyer's not then going to make the right choice. And we know that we care about our customers, and we care about it from the standpoint of twofold. One, we're in the business to do mortgage loans, but secondly, we realize that a mortgage is a commodity and there is, you know, sort of a price tag on it. So we work hard at keeping our price streamlined, at keeping our prices competitive. So it does confuse some people out there.
I mean, I think that's really important when we talk about interest rate, sometimes a buyer thinks that there's just a mortgage interest rate, right? There's one rate out there. Everyone has the same rate. Everyone has the same costs.
Right.
When I couldn't be farther from the truth. Every single bank or lender it's just like if you go buy a couch, there can be different origination costs. There can be different interest rate fees. There can be other fees involved that you have to shop around so you know the best deal you're getting. There's absolutely not just one interest rate out there or one origination cost out there in the country.
Yeah, Ryan, you bring up a good point. When I first got into business, whether you had, we're putting down 10%, 5%, whatever credit score, that was the rate that you got. And it wasn't so predicated on the market too. Today, a lot of lenders out there, they set their price on a daily basis, and things can change. So it's in the best interest of customers to know what a mortgage, to know how mortgage rates sort of come about. They come about on a daily basis. They're set by, just as you said, by the institution. They vary from institution to institution, and they are something that that each institution is competing with. That's our instrument to compete, along with the expertise that you guys all bring to the table. So it's always something to keep in mind that the buyer is out there. The buyer is going to see, and they're going to get great expertise, especially from all of you guys out in the field, and you guys are going to field their questions. But at the end of the day, they're going to then go and say, okay, what am I going to, I'm going to shop here for this loan. Then I'm going to call you guys. And you guys know as well, you're up for competing. But again, you want to make sure that the playing field is fair, and how the federal government says. And not a lot of people know this, and consumers should know this, that if I give 6 pieces of information, the 6 pieces of information basically center around personal information, my name, the address, and the loan amount. Those are some of the highlights of it. And then I give that to a mortgage officer. I should get a loan estimate out there. And that loan estimate should be given to me within 3 days. And then I should be able to then shop that as far as that goes.
And that goes perfectly into what we need to talk to Anthony about, because he's been pushing this program for 5 years, often imitated, never duplicated West Penn Financial, the Second Look program. And I know you push the Second Look all the time. Let's quickly talk about that, because it's huge for buyers out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest concern most buyers have about shopping is their credit. They don't realize they have 30 days to be able to shop, and it only counts against them as one inquiry to the credit bureau. So they're not getting multiple hits, multiple negatives, hurting their credit like it used to years ago. But the Second Look option gives them a second look view of other options. One of the biggest things that we're lacking in the industry through a lot of companies is options, which in turn clients are going to shop. They want to see what else is out there. But in the same token, the comparison has to be a true comparison. We give every possible cost at its face, for what it actually would be to buy a property. Other companies, when they provide a fee sheet, if they even provide a cost sheet, because most of them are not providing a loan estimate, like West Penn Financial, they're lowballing some of the figures that we're not bound to by the government, such as escrows, interest, things like that, because they don't have an agreement of sale yet. So on its face, some of those figures are definitely skewed to actual figures, but then the client finds out later on down the line, hey, my costs are $2,000 more. Why? So the Second Look option actually gives the client another review, essentially, at more options that could help their financial situation in their home purchase and put them in a better place financially.
You charging anything for that?
We do not.
And that's some good advice too. That's some real good advice, Anthony. Like you said, making sure that you get the loan estimate. I mean, there are a lot of lenders out there that aren't giving that loan estimate. And that loan estimate is something that is outlining of the fees. And like you say, there are some shortcuts that some people take out there. As to why they do that, I really can't say as to why. I, as a mortgage banker, and you guys know, at the end of the day, if you give 2 months of taxes and you give 2 days of interest, and you know that your file's going to close in the middle of the month, and the buyer's going to be needing 8 months of taxes, well, the only thing that's going to do is at the table is make everybody look bad. So we don't venture down that road. Because we don't want any problems there. But there are some shortcuts in the marketplace that some people can take. We don't choose to do that because at the end of the day, the buyer's going to close and it's going to come to fruition where they're going to have to pay the interim interest and they're going to have to pay the taxes that are due, as far as that goes.
Absolutely. Well, that was awesome insight. Appreciate you guys throwing that in there. Mr. Birko, you got anything to add on top?
Yeah, I was watching my favorite state-run media this morning, ABC, and they were talking about the housing market, and they were saying how it's terrible. The housing market's decreasing. It's the first time it's going down in 11 years. The world's ending. Meteors are coming. And then they go more in depth, and it's the West. Oh, God forbid. The West is down 8% of their home values, which were increased by 800% over the last 20 years.
Right.
The South is down 0.8%. The Northeast, where we are, is up 2.5%. So the market is still excellent here. We can't be listening to the media all the time because they are giving out what they want you to hear. So everything's fine. This market is very good still here in Pittsburgh. No one's losing home values or anything like that.
I feel like real estate's always been local, right? It's so hard to do real estate national, and the national numbers just kind of make everything look crazy. You can't compare Western Pennsylvania to California. That's just ridiculous anyhow. So
Right.
I agree with you there, Thomas. We've run long today. I'm calling it there. It's Friday.
Love
Enjoy
the
it.
shirt, Ryan. I got to
Thank you,
throw out
Richard.
that shirt, man.
Gamble responsibly this weekend. Call us for pre-approvals. Have a great one.
Big day Monday. Big day Monday.
See ya.